Hello everyone, let's talk Genshin. And more specifically, we'll be focusing on both the story and the community of the game itself. Because I do believe it's kind of an important topic. Not necessarily in terms of, how the game itself plays and the state of it, but more so how the community can affect your experience with the game. And this kind of will relate to Fontaine storylines, or just the story of the game itself and the characters. I won't be spoiling anything. So, if you haven't played Fontaine and you're waiting for it like I did for a long time, rest assured, you're fine. I will, however, say, if you are interested in Fontaine's story, my recommendation is, if you haven't done it already, then take your time. Either A, take your time and wait for it all to come out, like hypothetically if there's another region expansion, or with Arthakino's patch, if she is a playable character in the future, based on what we know since she was leaked. If we do end up getting an expansion to Fontaine's story as like an Act 6, then wait, or if it's an interlude, much like we did with Sumeru, then you can wait and kind of go through all that in one sitting, because in my opinion, it is worthwhile to do. I do think, however, from Genshin's launch to its current state, if you're looking at how the community perception has changed and how its reaction has changed, anyone who experienced Mondstadt when the game launched, all you got was a fresh start. We didn't know who Venti was, we didn't know who anybody was, and so it was kind of a fresh experience, and that immediately led into Liyue. Now, I am very understanding that we did kind of have to wait, I think, for Act 3 of Liyue's arc to come out separately, with the launch of, I believe, Child. So that is understandable. And then we went to Inazuma, which was a whole year later, basically, which is why we got this first interlude with the Traveler. That is all fine and dandy. I think that these first two acts and these first two regions kind of had the freshest start from the community's perspective, because people were still learning not only about the game itself, but also about the characters and the lore and the background. And we've had this expand all throughout the next few nations. But when it comes to Inazuma, I think we kind of get into the problem. Pre-Inazuma, we obviously had, I think, the entirety of the plotline of Inazuma leaked, and that did cause some problems. But when we got to Inazuma, we had big gameplay changes in terms of the combat of the game ramped up, and as a result, we met Raiden. The community hates Raiden, cool, whatever, but as a result of that hate for Raiden, anything mentioning her from that point onwards wasn't exactly faring well, and this kind of extended into the arc of Sumeru, where I think the story of Sumeru, in my opinion, was the worst of Genshin. However, my immediate question with that is, was Sumeru's story bad, or did I just hate how the community perceived Nahida to be? Because we had great characters like Nahida in terms of design, Nahida, Cyno, and so on. I like Cyno. I like the desert. Honestly, I may hate all the sand in the same colors because it's very uncolorful as a result, but hey, I still like the region, and the music isn't that bad. It's very colorful and very pretty. And I do think that Sumeru kind of started the trend where they featured essentially playable characters as important individuals within the story itself. But I think the community's perception, how they talked about Nahida as not only just an Archon, but as a character, as, you know, the whole she can do no wrong, she's perfect, she's amazing, she's a baby, she's adorable, that did kind of anything to do with her, which affected both her two main story quests afterwards, her character quest in particular, and the main Archon quest. And that extended into Wanderer. Because I think, even on some individual level, whilst I may hate his design and may hate him as I feel like the community kind of forgave him for everything which only made me hate him. And yeah, I refused to invest into this man. I only wanted his mom and his sister, who are both the exact same person. I don't give a shit about him. But I still hate how he was just, how he kind of had everything that he previously just erased, which removes so much potential interesting stories. But whatever, it's fine. Who cares? I think that the Genshin community has a problem to where if you have interesting characters who in the slightest thing are either nice or have been wronged in the past by one person, we kind of get an overarching forgiven story about them. Like whatever they did, oh no, you're fine, you're perfect, and people are coddled by that. And if you have any character who is remotely good looking in terms of design, say for Raiden, you end up having the community simp for them. Like Yolande's entire personality was reduced the equivalent to, oh my god, she's hot, dominatrix, tie me up, yada yada yada. And I think that does ruin the perception people have of that character. Wriothesley was similar to this, not spoiling anything that happens in the Fontaine story, but he's a very interesting character. He actually has a lot of personality. Actually, everybody in Fontaine had a lot of personality. But in terms of the characters themselves, Wriothesley was essentially reduced to, damn, he has a nice ass, which he's not. It's like, it's average at best in terms of the game. See now those two have nice asses. But whatever. I think that Fontaine's overarching story was great, but I think that with anything beyond, I'd say, actually anything beyond the Eula patch when Eula was launched, every character after that has a significant chance of being ruined. Obviously, with Kokomi and Raiden, they kind of had those mutual story interactions with Inazuma. I got the forehead and the socks, that was it. But overall, she's been kind of at least medium in terms of how much the community is focused on her. Zhao got ruined by Ziox. That's it. Zhao's entire personality and everything ruined by Ziox. He's short. That's it. Whatever. Ignoring that, he's a great character. Zhao, I mean, no. Kazuha was kind of ruined by the community in that similar extent, not necessarily by his character arc, but both because of how much the community hypes him up, not only in terms of gameplay, but in terms of any time he's in the story, even though he doesn't do anything. Ito, I think, kinda had a similar issue. Now, don't get me wrong, he can be a complex character, doesn't matter. I think that at least his personality fits with whatever the community believes him to be. But when you get to Nahida, when you get to Wanderer, to Hytham, and so on, you get the community perceptions leaking in before you actually meet the character. Like Nahida's entire arc, good or it has been relegated to, oh my, she did no wrong. She can do no wrong. She's perfect. She's adorable. Like I will give you it. She's hot. I will give you that. Would smash 10 out of 10. But beyond that, in terms of characterization, the community is fucking awful at maintaining any form of consistency within either a character that is viewed a lot within the gameplay itself or within the story and has significant roles. This applies especially with any Archons, or with even characters that don't even have significant roles within the story, but are just very well designed in terms of the community's perception. Like Eula's entire thing is, damn, she got a big ass. That's it. That's it. Big ass vengeance. Regardless of whatever her personality and story is, that is all she's relegated to at the moment, and it has been years. And so I think the Genshin community has the benefit of, yeah, we have a lot of guides out there, but beyond that, in terms of story, you have the lore masters and the theory crafters in terms of what the theories about the lore are, who characters are, etc., etc. That's fine. But the general perception and general information you get about a character will be either at face value, they're hot, mommy, shorts, a lolly who can do no wrong and is a perfect character, or dominatrix. That's it. That's all you get. You get like 3 options. 2 of them are going to be mommy and daddy. That's it. That's all you get. And so it kind of fucks things up, because if you legitimately want to experience the story, like for me at least, I liked Fontaine's story. I had to wait until basically yesterday to actually do Fontaine's story, because I just presumed I was going to hate it for the sole fact of the community both spoiled a lot of it and subsequently also hyped it up to be the peak, the pinnacle of Genshin Impact storytelling. Now, I can understand why some individuals would like it. I can understand why, because the characters in it are nice. But subsequently, I can also understand why you would. But I think we've gotten to a point where the community is kind of so 50-50 on whether or not they actually have a good opinion of something. It kind of veers into a category to where you're distrusting automatically. And this could be a situation in which if a character is very strong in the meta, you have a position under which you don't want to pay attention to them solely because the community likes them. Like if you listen to the community, you will have certain characters ruined for you, especially if you don't just care about, the gameplay aspects of them, but their personality as well and their stories. You will have them completely naturally ruined by the community as a whole. I think the one character who I've liked who hasn't been ruined by the community was a 4-star, and that was Gavin, because his story came out with Lantern Right and I played it immediately and he's great. But tell me your thoughts. Have you ever had a story ruined by the community? You probably have. You ever had a character you liked ruined by the community? Or anything ruined by the community? I think it's just a thing with HoYoverse games to where if you want to have a fun time, ignore the people who play the game itself, because you won't have a fun time if you listen to them in any capacity. Yeah, this is a ramble. I don't know when this video is going up. I will likely be playing Dragon's Dogma 2. Good fucking luck to anyone who's watching the content I produce, but then it breaks I take from that. I will see you next time.